Ah, they look so cute all snuggled up together. Mikoto cooed as she, Fugaku, and Itachi stared at Satsuki and Naruto in each other's arms. Itachi had a small smile gracing his lips. Hot or cold? Fugaku smiled slightly. Get the cold water. It'll be way better. Itachi nodded and ran to get a bucket. He filled the bucket with cold water and walked back to Naruto's room. Time to wake up kiddies, Mikoto whispered before kissing them both on the top of their heads. She turned to Itachi and nodded her head. Itachi quickly drenched the two genin with the cold water. Naruto's reaction was the best. He jumped up so high right when the water hit him that his head actually hit the ceiling of his room before falling on his butt. Satsuki just tried to get back under the blanket, but her mother yanked it off. Why would you guys do that? Naruto yelled as he rubbed the top of his head. Are you crazy? Mikoto just laughed. Maybe. Naruto was shivering on the ground, soaked head to toe. Get out, I need to change, he growled out. Itachi just smiled and poked Naruto's wet forehead and walks out the room with the rest of the Uchihas. Naruto quickly dressed in his all-black attire and walked out to find his family eating breakfast. Don't you have to meet your sensei at 8? Fugaku asked Naruto. Naruto smiled slightly before shaking his head. Kakashi and I usually comes 3 hours late, so we're going to go around 10:50, Naruto explained. Satsuki nodded in agreement before she went back to eat her eggs. Naruto-kun, your pancakes are on the counter, Satsuki said still before she took another bite. Thanks, Naruto said before grabbing his pancakes and sitting next to Itachi. Hey Itachi and I, why didn't you come to pick us up yesterday? Aren't you our sensei too? Naruto said. Itachi nodded and swallowed the food in his mouth. Yep. But I was sent on a quick mission by Hokage-sama. Naruto nodded and finished his pancakes with speed. I'm going to go train. Bye Kazan. Bye Toussaint, Naruto called out before running towards the training grounds. 40 minutes later. Wind style, blades of wind, Naruto shouted before expertly slicing the air with his hands towards the training dummy, successfully cutting it into 3 different pieces. Naruto smirked at his success. Nice job, Naruto-kun. That jutsu will hurt anybody that gets in its way. Naruto turned around and saw his uncle. Hi, Uncle Orochi. Not that I don't like you being here, but why are you here? I thought training with you was next week, Naruto questioned. Orochimaru smiled at Naruto. Well, remember how I was going to give you a gift since you graduated, right? Orochimaru asked. Naruto frowned as he remembered what happened the previous night. Orochimaru smiled sadly at Naruto. Well, I changed my mind. Naruto gave him a questioning look before Orochimaru held up 2 fingers. I'm going to give you 2 gifts. Orochimaru took out a small scroll and opened it to reveal a sword. The sword hilt was black with white patches in it that was in the shape of a diamond. The blade itself was a really dark gray. The first gift is a sword. This sword is made of chakra metal, so you can infuse chakra into it and you can enhance some of your jutsu like your wind jutsu from earlier. He handed Naruto the sword and Naruto sheathed it and put it in his back. Thank you, Uncle. But I don't really know how to use a sword. Orochimaru laughed. I'll be teaching you along with an ANBU who doesn't hate you next. Week until you can master some styles and then create your own like you did with Taijutsu. Naruto hugged his uncle before Orochimaru pulled out a big scroll that was sealed into his wrist. Now this is the snake summoning scroll. I let Anko-chan sign it. And now I want you to sign it. You can be a summoner of snakes. Do you really mean it, Uncle Orochi? Naruto said with tears in his eyes. Orochimaru nodded as Naruto tackled him to the ground in a hug. Naruto knew that summoning was really rare, and for his uncle to offer him a summon was one of the best days of his life. Orochimaru opened the scroll and explained how to be a summoner. Naruto signed the contract. Okay, now, do you know the hand signs? Orochimaru asked. Naruto nodded eagerly. Then go ahead and give it a try. Don't be discouraged if you can't. He watched as Naruto went through the hand signs and slammed his hand on the ground. Orochimaru's eyes widened. Naruto summoned the boss snake. Manda. L don't see a battle anywhere. Orochimaru, why did you summon me? Manda asked when he saw Orochimaru. I summoned you, not him. Naruto said from on top of Manda's head. Manda tried to throw Naruto off his head but had no success. Get off my head so I may see you, boy. Manda commanded. Naruto jumped off of his head and landed in his peripheral vision. Orochimaru, you let a boy sign this? Yes, Manda. He did not refer Manda and Sama because they knew and fought alongside each other for a long time. He seemed ready to be able to summon, and since no other summons were available at this time, I decided to give him the snake summoning scroll. Manda thought about this before coming to a conclusion. He may summon me if he gives me a human sacrifice. Naruto looked at Manda in horror. Is there any other way? Orochimaru asked, knowing the test behind Manda's words. Manda nodded his head before peering down at Naruto. Naruto looked Manda in the eyes. El refuse. I will not kill someone and offer them to you just so I can get help in the battle. Naruto said sternly. Even if it cost me the snake contract. Manda chuckled. L like this, boy. You may call upon the snakes if you need it, boy. Farewell. Manda said before dispelling himself. Naruto smiled brightly at his uncle before he heard a mock clap from behind them. Naruto turned around and scowled. It was Jiraiya. Bravo, bravo. A new snake summoner. How nice. Jiraiya said sarcastically. What do you want? Naruto sneered. Jiraiya just smirked. I just wanted to see what my student's son was up to. Is that a crime? Jiraiya said with a mock smile. Naruto glared at the man. Yes. It is a crime. You are on Uchiha property and I'm certain you were not invited. Trespassing. Naruto said. Jiraiya scowled. I should dash. Jiraiya began before he was met by a sword on his neck. You should what, Jiraiya? Hurt him? Jealous because my pupil is better than both of yours combined? Orochimaru said from behind Jiraiya. Oh please, Orochi team. Naruto and Minma are way stronger than this. Brat is. Jiraiya boasted. Orochimaru took the sword away from Jiraiya's throat and walked next to Naruto. If that's true, then why did neither the toads nor the slugs not choose them for summoners? HM? They weren't worthy. And snakes are hard to Prove your worth too, and Naruto did it in less than a minute. Jiraiya glared at Orochimaru before he smirked. Fine. We'll have a spar between the three. Naruto and Menma versus Naruto. Orochimaru was about to protest about it being unfair until Naruto spoke up. Deal. Let's set up some stakes, shall we? If I win, he pondered for a second before smiling. I get the tails of chakra from the Kyuubi from them. Jiraiya widened. Absolutely not. He yelled. Orochimaru smirked. Why not, Jiraiya? Aren't you confident that those two can beat Naruto? Kuen? Orochimaru said. Jiraiya smirked. Fine. I agree to your bet, but if you lose, he thought. You have to forgive your family, give up your eyes, and move in with them. Naruto replied without hesitation. Deal, he said. But before we do this, I need to ask the kids and Minato if they want to. Okay? Jiraiya said with a hint of kindness. Naruto nodded before walking off. Come in, Uncle Orochi, we have training to do. 1 week later, Naruto was on the training ground with almost the whole Uchiha compound behind him, along with Hiruzen and Orochimaru. Naruto-kun, you don't have to do this, Satsuki said in a worried tone. Naruto shook his head. Yes, I do. If I don't, he glanced at her. El may regret it for the rest of my life. This is to show them that I did fine without them. She gave him a hug. Don't lose. He kissed the top of her head, making her blush, and a lot of ahs from the crowd. El won't, he assured her. He had been training with Orochimaru and Itachi with a lot of shadow clones. His Kenjutsu also started, but all he could do with the blade was defend and send out a couple of wind jutsus. Minato, Kushina, Jiraiya, Menma, Naruto, and Tsunade walked onto the training grounds. Menma and Naruto had smirks along with Tsunade and Jiraiya. They had trained all week with the tails of chakra they had, and nothing else. Naruto knew this, which disappointed him greatly, because he knew that a shinobi shouldn't rely on one weapon. Naruto walked up to the middle of the training ground. Menma and Naruto walked up to the middle to meet him. Ready to forfeit those eyes and come back home, brother? Naruto asked with a smirk. Naruto shook his head, his face showing no emotion. El will not lose here today. You will. And I will take those tails of chakra from you, he said stoically, like Itachi usually did when he sparred with him. Why do you want the tails? What is your plan? Naruto then smirked. None of your concern. Now, may we dance? He looked over at the proctor of the match, which was Minato. Rules? No killing or maiming, Minato declared as he got a nod from the three. Ready, go, he shouted. Naruto immediately activated his Sharingan, which earned gasps from the bystanders. No one knew of Naruto's Sharingan except for a select few, because they wanted to keep it a secret until he became Genin. Naruto and Menma both got on all fours and started generating the tails of chakra as their looks became more feral. You're coming home with us, Menma and Naruto shouted as they charged up a Rasengan before dashing towards Naruto. Naruto stood there with his arms crossed, not even looking, a bit phased. As they got closer, Naruto smirked before he blew up. A shadow clone that blows up? Nice. Tachi must have taught you that. Orochimaru thought. On the other side of the field stood Naruto. So that's the Rasengan, huh? So it's just a ball of swirling chakra. He said aloud before making a tiny Rasengan. Like this? Minato and Jiraiya were dumbfounded. It took nearly 5 months for Naruto and Minma to learn that, and Naruto learns it just from observation. Naruto and Minma then recovered from the explosion and charged Naruto. Before Naruto made some hand signs. Would release, double wood dragon technique. He yelled, earning. Several more gasped. Tsunade had her mouth hanging from her jaw. She didn't actually believe her sensei when he said Naruto had Mokuton, but now she was seeing it firsthand. 2 dragons made of wood crashed out of the ground and snaked their way towards the 2 Jinchuriki and wrapped them up in wood, successfully suppressing their tailed beast chakra. The 4 tails started fading from the siblings' bodies, and Naruto walked to them in a mockingly slow way. Do you see why I was so confident? I have 2 things that can subdue L. Tailed beast, including a Jinchuriki. You're nothing special. And you're nothing without the beast's chakra. He made a shadow clone and tossed it at Kunai. The 2 walked up to the restricted 2 and held their kunai to their throats. You lose, he whispered. Minato couldn't believe it. His son and daughter were beaten when they were in their 4-tailed mode. Was all that training for 13 years not worth it? He sighed. Winner, Naruto, Uchiha, he said in a depressed tone. The Uchiha clan cheered wildly. Naruto turned to Minato and Jiraiya. It is unwise to rely on one weapon, is it not? I expect those tails sealed into me by the end of tomorrow. Minato nodded sadly before Naruto undid his wood dragon. Minma snarled before lunging at Naruto. Naruto expertly dodged before grabbing Minma by the back of his head and slamming it onto the ground. This is the pecking order now. Naruto growled, sending tons of KL in the air. The dirt, the worms in the dirt, you, your family, the village. Okay? I'm your superior. He yelled into Minma's ear. Naruto, that's enough. Minato shouted. Naruto released Minma and glared at Minato before storming off the training field, leaving everyone shocked. Naruto never had an outburst like that in public. Satsuki looked at her mother, asking a silent question before Mikoto nodded. Satsuki ran towards the forest that Naruto had stormed off into. 5 minutes later. Gur. Naruto growled as he punched the tree again. The poor tree had many dents in it, but Naruto was starting not to care. He was frustrated. The nerve of Minma. The nerve of that family. He thought. He punched the tree again until he heard a bush rustle behind them. He drew his sword and turned around slowly, only to see Satsuki standing there. His eyes softened at the sight of her. Naruto-kun, what's wrong? She asked, concern lacing her voice. Naruto sighed and forced himself to calm down for her sake. I'm just frustrated at them. They tried to take me away from you guys. My real family. Satsuki smiled softly before walking up to Naruto and kissing him on the cheek before hugging him. Thank you for not losing. I don't know where I'd be without you. She whispered. Naruto tightened his grip on her. Same here, Satsuki-chan. Same here. Next day. Naruto was exhausted. The ceiling of 8 tails inside of him was just physically and mentally taxing. He'd be lucky if he'd be able to walk. Well, the tails are now sealed into you, Minato stated, proud of his work. Menma and Naruko tried to fight to keep their tails, but Minato ordered them, saying they promised. They did so, but not after complaining a few hundred times. They were unconscious at the moment. The extraction of the tails put them in a coma-like state, but they would wake up in an hour or two. Naruto stood up with help of Orochimaru. Thanks, Hokage-sama. You may have abandoned me, but so far, you're my favorite out of your family. Minato fought the urge to jump up and down in joy. Naruto smiled weakly. Well, Naruto, if you ever need help controlling the Kyuubi, you know where to find me, Minato said before grabbing Menma and Naruko and shining away. Orochimaru rose an eyebrow. Forgiving? Naruto shook his head. Not even close. I'm just saying he's done the least of bad things out of all of them. That's it, Naruto said before he fell unconscious. Orochimaru smiled and picked Naruto up and walked out of the secluded area towards the Uchiha compound. 2 months after spar. Hokage-sama, can we please get a C-rank or something? I'm tired of these measly chores that the civilians could do. Plus, whenever I do something for them, they always say I'm doing it wrong while I'm doing the same thing the others are doing, Naruto said, complaining. Irika and Minato gave him a sympathetic look. They knew the villagers' hate was never going to go down, even though he was not the demon. Does Kakashi approve? He asked, looking at his former student. Kakashi nodded. They were ready the first day, but I was waiting for them to ask. Everyone in the room sweat dropped at Kakashi's statement except for Sai. Are you serious? Naruto yelled. I ought to take your porn and burn it right in front of you. Kakashi's eye widened. No, Naruto, no need to be hasty. I can change, he said frantically. Minato sweat dropped, seeing Kakashi's frantic begging. Naruto crossed his arms. You're fine, for now. But you'd best not be late for this C-rank. Kakashi nodded, immediately agreeing with Naruto that he wouldn't be late. Minato looked at the list of C-ranks available and found one suitable. Okay, Team 7. Your mission is to guard the bridge builder Tazuna. He walked over to the door and opened it. Come on in, Tazuna, and meet your protectors, Minato called. An old man with gray hair and glasses with a piece of white rope tied around his head with the lace sticking out walked in with a bottle of sake in his hand. He looked over the group. This is my protection? Psst. They look like wimps. Especially the pale boy with black hair. Naruto and Sai looked at each other. Sai was paler than Naruto, but both were still pale in their own way. Naruto then spoke. Up. Which one? Tazuna rose an eyebrow before pointing at Naruto. Tazuna went to drink his sake, but it was no longer in his hand. He looked around to see Naruto holding it. This sake looks good, doesn't it, Tazuna-san? Too bad. Naruto walked over to a plant in the corner of the room and poured the sake in it. Sorry, but it's ninja policy, so you can't drink till you're safe. He's fast. Tazuna thought. What do you mean till I'm safe? I'm safe right now, Ardell? Satsuki shook her head and laughed. You just made fun of Naruto-kun. You are not safe until you're in your own house. Tizuna turned to Naruto, who was grinning like a madman. Tizuna inwardly cringed before he bowed. "I'll apologize, Shinobi-san. I shouldn't have insulted your skills." Satsuki watched in awe. This man just bowed to Naruto and wasn't forced to do it. Naruto himself was shocked. He then blushed with embarrassment. "Don't do that. It makes me uncomfortable," Naruto said shyly. "Kakashi." I smiled before he started speaking. "Meet me at the village gates in an hour." He was about to leave when Naruto spoke up. "Kakashi and isn't Itachi and coming with us?" Kakashi shook his head no. Itachi was on a mission taking out a missing Nin from IWA. Name was Deidara or something. "No, sorry Naruto. He was sent out on a mission yesterday," Minato said. With a small frown. Naruto frowned as well. "He's been doing more missions lately," Naruto muttered before following Satsuki and Sai out the door. An hour later. "Is everyone here?" Tizuna asked. Kakashi nodded his head before he started walking out the village. Naruto took a deep breath before he walked along with Kakashi, with Satsuki and Sai and following quickly. Another hour later, ugh. Another one? Lot. Naruto was talking to Satsuki while Kakashi butted in sometimes and teased the two, which would ultimately end with him begging them not to burn their books. Sai and Tizuna walked silently, but Tizuna seemed to move normally while Sai seemed like he was being controlled. Naruto and Kakashi noticed a puddle on the ground, and Naruto, being Naruto, decided to play around a little bit. "Oh. A puddle. I like puddles. Remember how I like puddles, Satsuki Chan?" Satsuki gave him a questioning look before she saw how he tensed up and gave her a look that told her that danger was ahead. She slyly put her hand in her kunai pouch and grabbed a couple kunai. Naruto ran up and jumped in the puddle a few times before he stomped on it. Tizuna looked at Naruto like he was insane, but hey, maybe he was. Naruto stomped on the puddle one last time before he stepped out of it and kept walking. After around 5 seconds, chains bursted out of the puddle and wrapped around Kakashi and ripped him to shreds. Satsuki and Sai immediately ran towards Tizuna and guarded him from the two. One down," one of them said. He charged Naruto. "Two down." He smirked. Naruto quickly went through some hand signs. "Fire style, fireball jutsu," he yelled as the flames overtook the missing Nin, burning him to a crisp. The other one looked at Naruto wide. You killed my brother. I'll kill you," he screamed with rage. Naruto took out his sword and blocked the incoming claw and then backflipped a little to put some distance between the two. Naruto activated his Sharingan and made eye contact with the missing Nin and used a Genjutsu to put him to sleep. The Nin dropped to the ground, unconscious. "Good job, Naruto. You took those two down and left one for interrogation," Kakashi said as he stepped out behind a tree. "You did. Good to Satsuki and Sai, you guarded the client." Satsuki nodded at the praise while Sai looked indifferent. Naruto dragged the assassin to tree and tied him up with the assassin's own chains he tried to use to kill them. He then promptly woke him up with a quick but hard slap on the face. "Wake up, B!" he yelled. Satsuki threw a can at Naruto out of nowhere and it hit its target. No cursing. Naruto rubbed the back of his head and shot a glare at Satsuki. I'm grown, he muttered before slapping the assassin again. L said, wake up, bit. Naruto was promptly hit by another can. Ow, fu-he. Saw Satsuki raised another can. Fudge? Satsuki smiled at him and nodded. Naruto wiped a bead of sweat that was hanging on his forehead and quickly looked at the assassin who was now awake. What do you want? The missing nin spat out. Naruto just smiled at him. I want information. And you're going to give it to me. Right? The assassin laughed. Like the hell I would. It's not like you could do anything, shrimp. Naruto then smiled sadistically. In another universe, Naruto was snuggled up next to Anko in her bed before he saw her smile. Sadistically in her sleep before she muttered some words. That's my Narukuin, always scaring the shit out of people. Naruto slowly tried to get away before she gripped him tightly. Oh, Kami. Back to this universe. I'll think I can get the info out of you. You see, my villagers taught me some nasty things to me when I was little, and some did it not too long ago. I remember what they did too. I can show you if you want. Naruto said, smiling the same smile again. Sure. Whatever, kid. You can dash. You was cut off my kunai being embedded in his hands. He howled in pain before Naruto took it out. Sure about that? That's what happened when I was 6. I can show you. Another thing. Naruto spoke in an IOW whisper. The assassin shivered at the cold tone in his voice. Naruto had the man right where he wanted him. So, you gonna tell me? Or do I have to show you some more things? Gozu, the assassin, was now pissing his pants like a little girl that was scared by a monster. Fine, fine, I'll tell you. He screamed from the pressure, hoping to relieve some. Naruto smiled. Then spill. Minutes later. Kakashi and I, should I kill him? He could be a hindrance to our mission in the near future. Naruto said, looking at Kakashi's usually stoic face and trying to ignore the shock on Satsuki's. So this is his dark side, scary. Kakashi and Satsuki thought while Sai studied Naruto. He seems to have some darkness in his heart. He also seems really strong. If that training session didn't prove it. No wonder Danzo-sama wanted me to join this team. Naruto, Kakashi paused before he began again. Do you want to kill this man? I mean, we shouldn't even have to do this mission since it's beyond a searing now. Naruto shook his head. L don't want to kill him. But I will continue this mission, and he might be in the way and complicate things when it comes to protecting the old man. Tazuna let out a sigh of relief from hearing what Naruto had said. Please don't kill me. I won't even go back to Gato or anyone. Please. Gozu begged. Naruto thought about it for a second before he came up with an idea. Fine. Only if you help us protect Tazuna. Naruto stated. Gozu thought of it for a second before nodding. Why not? If it helps him save his life, then he should do it. Right? Naruto smiled at the man before untying him. Welcome to the team, for now that is. Naruto said. Satsuki let out a breath she didn't notice she'd been holding, relieved that Naruto didn't want to kill the man that tried to kill them. Kakashi looked over at Tazuna. You're lucky that Naruto over here is capable of many things, including protecting his comrades. If he wasn't, we would have left back to Konoha. The moment the two missing nin showed up, Tazuna looked at the ground in shame. He knew that lying was wrong, but his country didn't have enough money to pay for an A-rank mission. Tazuna then proceeded to explain why he is building the bridge and why they had less money because of monopoly named Gato Industries that wants to keep him from building the bridge. Kakashi and we have to complete this mission. 1. It's the right thing to do. 2. It won't help the Leaf Village at all if that bridge isn't built, because word will get out that we didn't help and they might go to other villages for help. Kakashi was surprised by his student/little brother. His logic was once again impenetrable. He sighed inwardly. "I'll guess we can go on, since we do have an extra set of hands," he said, smiling with his eye closed. Naruto smiled at him and waved his hand. "Come on then, I see a boat over there," he said before pointing to a barely noticeable boat, and mist was surrounding it like ducks with bread. They got on the boat quietly and waited patiently for the man who owned the boat to cross the channel quietly. Why is Kakashi and so dumb? Naruto whined at the dining room table, courtesy of Satsuki. Naruto rubbed his head. Ouch. Geez, Satsuki-chan. It's not my fault he had to fight Zabuza team by himself. He ordered me to. Satsuki hit him on the head again, much to his frustration. Be respectful. We are in another person's house. What would Kazan think about you being rude? She yelled/whispered. Naruto instantly paled in remembrance of the horrors of manners Mikoto Uchiha drilled into his head. They were currently at Tazuna's house, where his daughter, Tsunami, was currently cooking some lunch for the trio while Kakashi laid in bed due to his fight with Zabuza. Here you go, you three, Tsunami said as she came back in the dining room with a tray with 4 plates with sandwiches. She set one out for each of the 3 genin and one in an empty seat. Inari, she called. Time for lunch. Sasuke and Naruto started eating their respective lunch while Sai just sat there and studied the two like they were animals at zoo. Naruto finished his sandwich right when Kakashi walked in with a pair of crutches supporting him. Hey guys, he said plainly as he closed his eye in a smile that you could see from the outline of his mask. Naruto glared at Kakashi. Kakabaka, you wanted to fight Zabuza alone while we just watched. You get, no offense, get your ass handed to you. Naruto growled out. Kakashi started sweating along with the rest of the group as Naruto sent KL at him, making a shiver crawl up his spine. He paused as he glanced at the group cautiously. Let's go train for when Zabuza comes back, eh? Satsuki spit out the water she had in her mouth while Naruto rose an eyebrow and Sai kept his emotionless face on. Kakashi-sensei, what do you mean Zabuza is still alive? Satsuki asked in a slightly shaky voice. Kakashi sighed before explaining. When I was laying in bed, I thought back to the fight and about the Hunter Nin. Now usually, no one really uses Sunbon needles unless they are trying to hit a certain nerve or transfer a type of poison. But when I saw the needles, they weren't laced with anything, and the nerves the Hunter Nin struck was where you usually chop someone's neck to knock them out fast. So I concluded that the Hunter Nin put Zabuza in a death-like state. He explained. El suspected that too, but I wasn't sure until now. Naruto muttered as he stood up. Okay, Kakashi-sensei, let's get some training done. He punched the air before the three genin followed Kakashi out the door. A couple minutes later in a forest. Okay guys, we're doing tree walking today. All you have to do is apply an even amount of chakra to the soles of your feet and climb the tree. And he was cut off as both Naruto and Sai had already made it up the tree with ease. For Naruto, that's no surprise, but Sai? That's a little fishy. Fish. Kakashi thought before he looked at Satsuki expectantly. Satsuki had her head down before muttering a few words that no one got. What was that? Kakashi said, eyeing Satsuki. Satsuki looked annoyed as she looked up at him and sighed. I don't know how to do that yet, she said heatedly. That's pathetic. I thought you were an Uchiha prodigy like Naruto. Guess I thought wrong, Sai said in a mocking voice before he was knocked off the tree by a branch that came from nowhere. Naruto then whistled innocently and walked down the tree slowly and stood next to Satsuki, who gave him a fist bump. Okay Satsuki, you practice tree climbing, and Naruto, follow me, Sai. Perfect your, drawings? The three of them nodded. Kakashi made a shadow clone to observe Satsuki's climbing while he and Naruto walked off to a different part of the forest. Okay Naruto, this technique I'm going to show you is going to take a lot of concentration. You are allowed to use your Sharingan to help learn this since it can be quite chakra taxing, okay? Naruto nodded his head. Okay. This technique is called Chidori. Several hours later. Kaka-sensei, Naruto panted as he leaned on the tree completely exhausted. You weren't lying when you said it was chakra taxing. Kakashi chuckled at his surrogate little brother before he ruffled his hair. You should never doubt me. Now come on, the others are already at the house eating dinner. They quickly went to the house and greeted everyone before they sat down and started eating. Satsuki-chan, did you master the exercise? Naruto asked. Satsuki nodded but couldn't speak due to her mouth being full of the dumpling that Tsunami made. Naruto then turned to Sai. Getting a hang of those drawing things, Sai? Sai nodded. Yes. Thank you for asking. Naruto's eyes widened slightly, surprised that Sai responded to him in such a manner. He was usually a total prick. Well, I'm learning a new move. Did you know that Kakashi and I can actually do something besides walk, talk, and read his book? Satsuki mocked gasped. Really? What did he do? Naruto chuckled while Kakashi looked at the ground in embarrassment. He's teaching me his signature move, Chidori. I haven't gotten it down yet, but I'm getting there. By the time Zabuza is up and running, I should be able to use it, he explained until a small yet slightly angry voice spoke up. Why do you even fight? You can't beat Gato, he's too strong. You're no hero. Heroes don't exist, the little boy said. Naruto turned around and saw a boy with a hat on with blue overalls. Naruto laughed. Gato is weak. Trust me, if he had to hire Zabuza to kill Tazuna, then he's weak. His only strength is money. Besides, everyone is a hero in their own way, Naruto said. The little boy, Inari, grew angry and started yelling. How would you know? You stupid ninja live lavish lives and do anything hard. You just sit around and then act like you're string until you're killed. You don't know what it's like to suffer. He yelled. Naruto froze and the room temperature went down several degrees. Oh shit. Nice knowing you, kid. Satsuki and Kakashi thought at the same time. Naruto put all of the hatred and sadness into a ball before pushing it out. With the KL he was now spreading like a wildfire. Suffering? Suffering? Naruto growled out. Everyone in the room was now sweating and on their knees struggling to breathe. What would I know about suffering? He yelled. Tell me, kid. Have you ever had a kunai stabbed into your stomach? Multiple times and then twisted around? Have you ever been pinned to a concrete wall when you were 6 years old with a bunch of weapons? Did you almost get skinned alive? Did you get beat up almost every week of your life when you were 4? He roared. Inari shook his already shaking head. Then don't you dare say I don't know what suffering is. Naruto yelled. Naruto took a deep breath before taking his KL back in. I'll need to release some steam. He whispered to the group before he stormed out of the house. Tsunami looked over at Kakashi. Was all those things he said true? Kakashi shook his head much to her relief before his reply shook her to the core. He only gave you guys the sugar-coated summary of it. It was a lot worse. He whispered as guilt flooded his system. You killed her. Naruto whispered as he held Satsuki's body, which was covered in needles. You killed her. He slowly brushed the hair out of her face as tears ran down his. You killed her, you bastard. He screamed as he gently set her down, a whirlwind of red chakra consuming him. The masked boy in the ice eyes widened as he watched the blonde change before him. His fingernails grew sharp and his teeth grew more sharp. The chakra felt so deadly and poisonous. It felt evil. Naruto ran on all fours and punched straight through the ice end, knocking the boy flat on his ass into the bridge railing, making a big crack in it. When Tazuna saw this, he wasn't worried about the bridge. Oh no, he was worried about the boy. He put a crack in stone. Naruto, in his fit of rage, charged the masked boy and punched his arm right through his chest. The boy smiled beneath his mask. Sorry, Zabuza-sama, I'm just a worthless tool now. He thought before he fell limp, dead. Naruto looked over at Zabuza. You brought him here. You made him kill her. He yelled before charging up a Chidori and charging Zabuza, who was currently being held by Kakashi's summoned dogs. What? No, I can't die yet. Zabuza cried out only to be silenced by a Chidori hitting him in the heart. Naruto's eyes were still blood red, a mix of the Fox Chakra and his Sharingan. Kakashi's eye widened at Naruto's brutal execution of Zabuza. Naruto started calming down as his eyes turned back to their normal black and the red chakras seemed to disappear. And Naruto? Kakashi asked in a questioning manner. Naruto silently walked away from the body of Zabuza and sat down next to Satsuki, grabbing her head and placing it on his lap as he played with her hair, tears streaming down his face. It wasn't supposed to be like this. He choked out a sob. She wasn't supposed to die. Kakashi and Tazuna looked at Naruto with pity-filled eyes. Naruto's head shot up when they heard a large clapping sound coming from the opposite end of the bridge. Thank you, Leaf Ninja. I was going to kill them anyway. More money for me. Now, I'm going to kill you and take that girl with me. She may be dead, but she'll still please me for a day or two, Gato said with a smug smile. Goodbye, Gato. Good riddance, was the thought going through Kakashi's head. Naruto stood up slowly before he unsheathed his sword and pulled out a kunai. He activated his Sharingan and slowly walked towards the small army. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to destroy you. You will be a puddle when I'm done with you, Naruto said as his hair covered his eyes. It's only one boy. Get him, Gato shouted while pointing at Naruto. Red chakra swirled around Naruto's feet as he met eye to eye with Gato. You will die here, on this bridge, right now, Naruto said before he charged the army. 2 minutes later, Naruto stood in a pool of blood of what was previously Gato. Dead bodies either littered the water below them or the bridge. Naruto himself was covered in blood. The army had been massacred. Kakashi walked over to Satsuki's body only to notice a needle in her neck. He quickly grabbed the needle and pulled it out of her neck. Satsuki sat straight up and took a lungful of air. She sat there for a minute before looking around and seeing Naruto standing in a puddle of blood. Naruto-kun? She whispered. Naruto whirled around and saw Satsuki, alive and well. "Es Satsuki-chan?" he whispered before he looked around him, tears welling in his eyes before he collapsed onto his knees. Satsuki struggled to get up, but was determined to reach him, even if she had to crawl. She eventually got there and hugged him tightly, pulling his head to her shoulder as he sobbed freely into her shirt, getting it slightly wet. I killed them all. All of them, he choked out. She ran her fingers through his black hair and kissed the top of his head. We're ninjas. It's what we do. If not them, then we would have died. Naruto just continued to cry. But that W was a massacre. I am a monster, aren't I? He said before he was jerked forward and forced to look into her eyes. If I ever, and I mean ever, hear you say those words, she whispered, I will slap you so goddamn hard, your Sharingan will never activate again. Naruto's eyes widened slightly before he nodded. Satsuki smiled and hugged him again. Kakashi and Tazuna watched, with a small smile tugging their lips at the scene while Sai looked emotionless as always. Might as well clean this up, eh? Kakashi said with a slight sigh. Tazuna could only nod, wondering where to start was on his mind right now. Couple days later. Bye guys, Naruto and Satsuki shouted in unison as they walked across the now finished and clean bridge. They seemed happy and relieved that they could now leave that place. So many problems had come up by just being there, so they wanted to get as far away as possible. As the group of ninjas left, Tazuna looked at the four in the distance. We should name the bridge the Great Tazuna Bridge, eh everyone? Tazuna joked. He was shot down by boos before Tsunami spoke up. We should name it the Great Naruto Bridge, since he was the one to free our country of Gato's reign of terror. Everyone cheered or nodded in agreement. Tazuna smiled at his daughter and grandson, happy they were finally happy. The Great Naruto Bridge it is then. Time, 7 p.m. Location, unknown. Are the preparations in order? Came a monotone voice. The room had 51 people in it. All of them except one was not even older than 18. Danzo Shimura stood in front of the 50 teens, one kneeling before him, and the others standing ready for anything. Yes, Danzo-sama. The preparations are finished, the kneeling one said. Danzo nodded. Good. Now let Operation Extermination commence. Hi! Everyone shouted as they disappeared in a shushin. With Naruto time, 9 p.m. Naruto-kun, I'm tired. Satsuki complained, for which seemed to be the 1000th time to Naruto. Naruto sighed. Yeah, I know. But we had to report about the mission to the Hokage. It was their rank. What, did you think it was going to be like 5 minutes? He asked sarcastically, earning a soft punch in the shoulder. No, but we were in there for 5 hours. It's like 9 or something. I want to go home and sleep. Naruto smiled at her. Me too. They walked until Satsuki fell dramatically. Go, Naruto-kun, save yourself, for I have fell prey to exhaustion, she said. Naruto deadpanned at the girl before he grinned slightly. No man or woman left behind, he declared before picking up Satsuki. Brattle style and running. Satsuki blushed furiously as she gripped the back of his neck, having a slight fear that he would drop her. Naruto also had a little red staining his cheeks, but kept running until they reached the big gate that led to the Uchiha compound. Naruto sat Satsuki down on her feet as he walked in, with her following him. Why is it so dark? He whispered. Usually the lights were all on and no one went to bed this early except for the little toddlers. Satsuki shrugged. Maybe there's a celebration in the village? She suggested. Naruto shook his head. We would have seen or heard about it. I have a bad feeling about this, he said before they turned the corner, only to see dead bodies littering the ground, with blood splattered on the buildings. Naruto activated his Sharingan to search for any genjutsu but found none. What the hell happened here? He breathed. Satsuki looked around before throwing up. She wiped her mouth before tears streamed freely down her face. I don't understand. This isn't right, she said in between sobs. Naruto looked at her. Satsuki-chan, I want you to go back to the Hokage Tower and tell Minato, he said urgently. But what about I? She did before she was interrupted by Naruto. Go, he shouted. Satsuki nodded before turning around and running out of the compound. Naruto started running before he heard blades clashing with each other. Naruto dashed onto a building, drawing his sword before he was stopped by 3 men with blank ANBU mask. Who are you? Naruto shouted. They said nothing but instead answered by drawing their swords and charging Naruto. Naruto quickly blocked a down slash by one of them and he dodged another strike. The third was making a jutsu before Naruto heard him speak faintly. Earth style, Earth Dragon Bomb, they said before a dragon popped up from the roof and a dragon showed up with its mouth open before a light showed up in its mouth and shot out at Naruto. Naruto jumped up and made his own hand signs. Fire style, Phoenix Flower Jutsu, he shouted before the balls of fire hit the offending blank ANBU, burning him alive to a crisp. Naruto turned around to face the other two. What do you want? He shouted. The one on the left spoke. To exterminate the Uchiha clan. Naruto grinded his teeth together. before he charged the both of them. Like the hell I'll let that happen, he said before he made a single hand sign. Shadow Clone Jutsu. 3 other Narutos showed up and 2 went on one and the other followed the real Naruto. They quickly overpowered the 2 ANBU, killing them quickly and without mercy. Naruto ran towards his own house and busted inside only to get a whiff of blood. No, 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 he whispered, his throat choking up. He ran all around the house until only the room of their parents remained. He slowly slid open the door to find the bodies of Fugaku and Mikoto. Uchiha. No. No. No, 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 he cried out. He fell to his knees and clutched his chest. No, he screamed, tears flowing down his face. Ka-san, Tu-san, he whispered. Don't leave me. He stood up and gripped his sword tightly and rushed out of the house. Come face me, you bastards. Come face me, he screamed. Not a second later, 20 blank-masked ANBU landed all around to him. Naruto swung his sword fiercely and killed 2 of them easily, but all the others rushed him. Naruto sheathed his sword and closed his eyes. I'm sorry, Tu-san, Kazan, Itachi and I, and you too, Satsuki-chan, he thought, awaiting his death. He heard 2 of them choke and collapse. He opened his eyes to see Itachi. Is that what we taught you? To give up? Were you just going to accept death? Itachi said as he fought 2 of the others while Naruto just stared at his brother in awe as he stood on his knees. Itachi kept fighting and dodging with his sword before a single blade entered his stomach. Itachi and I, Naruto shouted. Itachi ignored him and kept fighting while having a sword lodged in his stomach. Another sword entered his shoulder. Itachi kept fighting, getting the previous number of 22. Just 5 before 2 ANBU stabbed Itachi in the chest and another in his stomach again. Itachi and I, Naruto shouted. Itachi yanked out the 4 swords from his body before he turned to Naruto, clutching his chest. He coughed up blood onto the ground in a puddle. Blood trickled down his mouth in a thick line. I'm sorry, Otudo. I won't be able to watch you grow into a fine man you will become, he said, limping towards him. I'm sorry I wasn't able to tell you the truth. He was now in front of Naruto, standing before he poked his forehead. But I want to impart this much truth on you. He grabbed the back of Naruto's head and leaned his head in his. No matter what, I will always love you, he said before he collapsed on the ground, dead. Itachi and I? Naruto stuttered out, Itachi's blood flowing down from his forehead. Naruto clutched his eyes as blood flowed down from them. No. No. WHHHHYYYYY? He screamed as his eyes opened, to reveal the Manjiku Sharingan. Naruto glared at the remaining 5 ANBU and a word popped into his mind. Amaterasu. He whispered and black flames came out of his left eye, catching all 5 of them on fire. He watched as their bodies burnt before he fell to the ground next to Itachi, emotionally exhausted.